yesterday the Niners re-signed Jordan Willis. This guy's interesting. He was a third-round pick in 2017 of the Bengals because he killed it at the combine. Kind of like Solomon Thomas. Really good combine performance, overshadowed a pretty mediocre college career. So he's a third-round pick, goes to the Bengals, flops. Two sacks, 2 years, worse than Solomon Thomas. Gets waived. Jets pick him up, does nothing. They trade him to the Niners. All of a sudden, he's pretty good. Played about 180-something snaps, still had 2.5 sacks. I mean, that made him more productive as a pass rusher than Eric Armstead. Probably, sacks per snap, pressures per snap. He probably was up there with anyone on the team. Probably was up there with Kerry Hyder. I'm not going to do the math right now, but the dude played really well. All of a sudden, he showed the promise, the upside that I'm sure the Bengals thought they saw when they drafted him in the 3rd round. All of a sudden, his draft pedigree showed itself. Why? Well, he is a good athlete, but this Chris Kosurik that the Niners have is terrific. And what I've learned about Kosurik, it's like he's really good with these underperforming. He got Jordan Willis to play well. He got Deion Jordan to play well, who was one of the bigger first top 10 busts of the last 10 years. The one guy he couldn't get to play well was Solomon Thomas, which I think says more about Solomon Thomas than Chris Kosurik. I think that just shows you how hopeless Solomon Thomas is. But everyone else has a big uptick in performance under Chris Kosurik, Jordan Willis in particular. So where does he figure in? Well, we don't really know what to expect from Dee Ford next year. In fact, I think we all kind of know what to expect from Dee Ford. I don't think we're expecting much. I don't think the Niners are either. I'm not certain he'll ever play again. I kind of get the feeling he'll try and he'll maybe practice for a week and then he'll be gone. And what happened to Dee Ford? Oh, he tweaked something. It's nothing. It's just a little setback. And then he won't be on the field the next week. And you'll be like, hey, Kyle, what happened with Dee Ford? Oh, it's nothing. He's fine. But there's no timetable for his return. What? He's fine and there's no timetable. And then 2 months pass and you're like, hey, Kyle, well, you haven't talked to you about Dee Ford in a while. Is he coming back? And oh, no, he's really, really improving, making great strides. Of course, there's no timetable for his return. But so anyway, that's the expectation for D. And then the other guy, Nick Bosa, what is the expectation for him? We expect him to play next year, but do we expect him to play 800 snaps coming off a torn ACL? That was more than a torn ACL. He tore other things in his knee as well. It was a significant injury. Do we expect that? Do we expect him to play at the same level that he played as a rookie coming off that torn ACL? Or would it be more prudent to not even ask him to do that, to put him on a pitch count, a snap count, and rotate him in with someone else so you don't overwork him his first year back from a torn ACL? I think that would probably be the prudent way. If you go back and look at his career at Ohio State, he was coming off a torn ACL that he suffered in high school his senior year. He went to Ohio State. They worked him in real slow. He was never a full-time player at Ohio State. He would basically rotate in, one drive on, one drive off the field. That's how they were always very conservative and cautious with Nick Bosa in college. Now, that was when he was an amateur and wasn't being paid millions of dollars. But still, are the Niners going to be like, hey, Nick, we paid you $10 million. We need you to play. Or are they going to say, Nick, you're the future of our franchise. We don't want to overdo it. So it's possible Bosa plays maybe 500 snaps next year, and you're judicious about when they are. So you need someone else who can play. Jordan Willis showed that he can do it. He's a good player. He's big. He's explosive. He's strong. He seemed to respond to Chris Kosurik's teachings and coaching. So this is it's a decent signing. It's not like anyone was competing with the Niners for Jordan Willis. So let's not get crazy. But I do like all the players the Niners have re-signed. And I got to say, I'm more enthusiastic about their free agency than I thought I'd be. I thought it was going to be like a C, or they were going to come out of free agency significantly worse than they went into it. But basically, they held serve. I mean, if you like this team, you're looking at this team and saying, this team's a hell of a team. I put out, this roster is a hell of a roster. I put out the words, they're escaping me. I put out a poll yesterday on Twitter saying which team was better, 2019 49ers, the one that went to the Super Bowl, 13-3, or the current one. It was split 50-50. There's a lot of optimism going around on this team here. And I can see it. I mean, similar team than it was in 2019. It's 2 years older. Maybe it's 2 years more developed, however you want to look at it. But there's a lot of optimism here. I'm going to discuss that in a minute.